Hello everyone, today I'm going to be taking a look at the Norman Cavalry from Victrix Miniatures. Okay, the Norman Unarmoured Cavalry. This allows you to make 12 cavalry figures, Arabized helmet options for Crusaders and Spanish. Right, in here you can see on the back we have the standard Victrix breakdown of bodies and parts that match, some options constructed there in the renders, and bringing in our build sheet as they are wont to do these days. So your Norman Unarmoured Cavalry, 4 body types, variety of components. Any sword, scabbard or knife can be used with any body. And on the reverse we have your 4 horses, shield types and Islamic swords and daggers. So you can build your Spanish or your Moorish style cavalry as well. What I will say before we take a look at the sprues is these heads will fit on both bodies, because I've checked. Likewise, the half helms will fit on both bodies, as will most of the arms. I've played around with putting this arm onto B1 and so on and so forth. So there's actually a lot more options than are shown here. Just dry fit to make sure. Realistically, what you've got is these 2 body types have got similar arms and heads, and therefore any of the arms will match. And then likewise the bottom here where you need a complete arm with shoulder will completely mix and match between those. The one thing you might run into is the shield arm here being a bit closer to the horse because the position on this body, it's leaning back a bit more. But we'll see that in a moment. In the bag you get 6 sprues, and there are 2 types of sprue, so you get 3 of these horse sprues. Bodies are halved, saddle and tail already attached, and they are unique sculpts, so you can't mix and match them. And then we have a set of 16 shields per sprue. So you have the Spanish sort of Islamic style kite, or not kite, heart. You have a kite shield. You also have large round, both flat and convex. And on the other side we have the same again, including a couple of flat topped Crusader style, sort of later European shields. You have some tassels. There are 4 pairs, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. We have some scabbarded and unscabbarded swords in the Islamic style, which are all marked off as IS 126, I think it is. And some of the daggers, top and bottom as well. The unscabbarded are just a hand holding it, so you'll need to cut those off. A quick look at the back. You can see the shields all have wood grain and strapping around the rear. Then we have our actual rider sprue. So starting at the top then, we have these half helms, some with the cloth wrapped around it, so either your Crusaders or Islamic style, and then just a selection of conical helms for the 11th into the 12th century sort of Normans. We have some axes alongside the swords, all European style. A whole host of spears, both sort of a cavalry spear for lancing and then also overarm, so more like a javelin or thrusting if you're going to be running them as sort of Breton. Couple of hands for the shield arms are holding javelins in their offhand behind the shield, so you've got options there as well. And the sculpts themselves are pretty typical Norman style bodies. Some of them have got wrapped legs, some do not. Cowls around the top of the bodies themselves. So nicely detailed, a nice selection of heads. So for 2 bodies you get, if I pop these around here, you can see the reverse of the Normans with that typical haircut. But we've got 12 heads for 2 bodies. Obviously some are European and some are Crusader based, so Holy Land, or can be used in Spain for the Reconquista. So let's take a look at some of the built ones. Okay, we're going to start things off with a couple of Norman style figures with the distinctive rounded kite. Builds for all of them were very quick, nice, easy to assemble, and in the majority of cases the sprue gates are very easily accessible. Around the horses' heads there's a sprue gate that comes in, and that's obviously curved, so you're going to have to go in afterwards and clean it somewhat, but nothing major as far as the build goes. Size wise, they are approximately 40mm to eye level for the cavalry and around 28mm to eye level for the horse, although depending on the pose of the horse that will change. I do like the speed of build with these. However, I really like the way they've done the new medieval saddles on the horses separately. It makes it a bit more robust and you don't have to deal with the line that's running through the middle. But for putting 12 cavalry figures together in double quick time, this is going to be fairly simple. We can see a cloth hatted fellow. I've not scabbarded any of these up. Obviously they've got sacks as well as scabbarded swords to put on. There's even a flanged mace which isn't listed on the sprue. In fact, I'll bring that back in very quickly because I'd almost missed it the first time round. Where are you? There we go. So W1 we have here a little flange mace with the tie at the top, so it would hang from the belt that way down as a backup weapon. Particularly handy for Crusaders. I know they were fond of the flange mace as a backup. It was always good to break bones when your sword or spear broke. Speaking of Crusaders, I have a couple here with the relevant paint job. These could easily be crusading nobles or members of the religious orders. If you want to go for the Knights of St. Lazarus, the Templars, or Hospitaliers. So, typical stuff from the Norman side. A bit more flamboyant on the Spanish/Islamic side. These are quite cute. The tassels obviously are optional. However, I think they really show off. Here you can see one gentleman with all the javelins. This is one of the helmets. It's suggested for the other body, but as you can see, the half helm will fit on this one perfectly. I will say the double strap on the arm helps fit the models very neatly with the curved or bowl-shaped shields. So it gives a nice solid glue joint, which is what you want when you're attaching a shield. You don't want them to be just barely hanging on. We have another standard build, potentially a standard bearer. You may want to wait until the shield's on the arm before you attach the tassels in case you want the wind to be blowing in a specific direction. And the final one I've built, this used a axe arm, and then that was just removed and replaced with one of the Islamic swords. So he's charging forward, about to slash in. A really nice set of figures, good amount of detail on them, and very versatile set as well, with the correct arms, shield and head. They will be press ganged into service all across Europe and Outremer. There we go, folks. 12 of the finest Norman cavalry, the flower of Norman chivalry, perhaps, or perhaps not. Perfect for any of your Norman or Breton forces. If you fancy doing some early crusades, they're great for that. Even the Reconquista down into Spain. You've got really nice 11th, 12th century knights in here. Beautiful detail on them, and enough variety in the weaponry and heads that you'll be able to have a really distinctive force, depending on whether you're playing one of those very specific reaches of northern France, or whether you want to push them into the Crusades themselves. Let me know what you think below. Until next time, bye-bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.